look amazing to me. Yeah, all of my homies gon' eat. Yeah, and I could put that on me.
Peace in our times. At least that's what RDJ said. Welcome back, guys. I'm Will Ray. That's Manny. Special guest with Lalo. Welcome to today's show. You're at the Will Ray Show. I'm sorry. I'm sluggish today because I've been working a lot and I'm tired. But anyway, special guest today is Lalo. He's in a chair for Malik this week because Malik is off doing business. Manny's here as always. I'm your host, Will Ray. Lalo will primarily be here once we can get a bigger audience for wrestling. SummerSlam is coming up. It's actually going to be this week. Don't know what's going to happen. A lot of special guest appearances, supposedly. Hopefully we see Roman. I doubt it. They saying they do, but we'll see.
He didn't say anything. It's me. You think Roman's coming back?
I don't care if he comes back or not.
I
want
watch
the
your
big
tone.
return.
Your tone with the tribal
return.
chief over there.
I don't want a loser to come back.
A loser. You
Is he
support
not a
Seth
loser?
Rollins.
Is he not a loser?
You support Seth Rollins.
Hey,
Watch
I,
him
I'm
The
just
biggest
saying.
loser of them all.
I'm
Watch
just
him
saying.
out. But today,
Lost twice. Not once. Twice.
who?
Seth Rollins.
Yes, he did. He did. He did
Twice.
lose twice. He lost twice, 2 WrestleManias in a row. But technically,
Well,
you could
he also
say-
lost 2 times at WrestleMania.
Yes, but you can count Cody winning as a victory. It's
no, you
complicated.
can't. What?
You can kind of.
So John Cena
First
just
off,
became.
Seth was injured, all right? We all knew this.
So was my
So-
tribal chief.
Listen,
Anyway, he didn't get
He was.
pinned by The Rock.
He was.
Cody was pinned.
What? That was
Yeah,
good.
but you also drew.
that is.
I healthy
Not even a
Drew.
champion.
It was a quick. That was a quick match too.
Yeah.
That was very, very, very quick. But on today's show, basically, it's a heavy spoilers edition. We're going to be talking about Deadpool and the massive money that they made. They didn't quite make the money that they thought they were going to make, but it still was it's record setting for a rated R movie.
How much was it?
Grand total domestically, $211 million domestically,
Wait.
almost $500 million worldwide, which is crazy for a rated R movie. It's never done like that, anything.
I was definitely thinking more, probably worldwide beating the record, not domestically, but
It
I thought
came
domestically was close.
close worldwide. I think it was maybe off by $1.75 million, basically. I'm sorry if I butchered that anyway. But also, we're going to talk about major spoilers from Comic-Con. If you've been living under a rock, you don't know. If you don't know, now you know. Doctor Doom is basically Robert Downey Jr. All right, Iron Man, Tony Stark, Victor Von Doom.
Did you see what most people
Tony
are
Stark.
already making up the theory?
We're going to get into that. But also, we're going to talk about DC and what they did. They were kind of quiet. A lot of opinions on that one. But before we start, Lalo, give a little quick introduction into yourself. What kind of sports teams you watch? Do you watch sports and stuff like that?
Hello. I'm the residential Bears fan of this neighborhood.
Horrible.
As you see, also Manchester United.
My Reds.
Get that zoom in right there.
No, we're not doing it.
Okay.
No.
Sorry. I'm very all around with sports.
This isn't school. You don't have to do all that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It sounded like you was in
I'm sorry,
school.
brother.
You were doing the school thing where it was like, please.
I
tell us
support
about
Iowa sports, by the way.
Iowa.
Yeah.
You're a Buckeye? Or
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye?
Yes.
Everything
I have
about
a-
Iowa.
It's crazy. I'm an Iowa quarterback on my road to glory on SC2X right now.
I've already took Michigan to the natty.
That's too easy. Who cares? Anyway, just the first
He
topic.
doesn't want to smoke, that's why.
We'll see you later. DC,
I
while
want to waste my time on you. What part don't you understand?
we're not going to do it. We got to focus on that. All right, DC stuff. So DC basically had a
DC on
a
Marvel.
small panel. Some of the stuff that they showed were the first official trailer for
Penguin.
Creature Commandos, a second or third trailer for Penguin, the official DC Studio logo, which will be shown for each movie for their universe.
Yeah.
And each one will change. I know a lot of people got a little bitchy about, like, oh my God, is it always going to be Superman in that animation? But no, every one will be different. So if it's the Batman, it'll be red and it'll show something with Batman. Or, Robert Pattinson's Batman. Green Lantern, I'm pretty sure, will be green. Wonder Woman will be something else. And Superman and so on and so on and so forth. But it's the official DC logo. I'll have an image up so you can see it so far. But
It's gonna be really interesting what to do for a Justice League movie with the logo.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. It might go traditional from
Or
where it went.
Villains.
Or villains too, with Joker coming up as well. I'm pretty sure
Penguin.
that'll be
Penguin
it.
might have
Penguin.
its own-
I think they'll keep that in the same realm with Robert Pattinson's Batman. I think it'll be red.
You think
That's.
so?
I think it'll be black and red. That'll be it. But guys, just to give a little thought, DC was pretty quiet, but a lot of people said that's a good thing because honestly, they didn't have a lot to show with basically the Penguin, Creature Commandos, and a little bit of stuff from Superman. They didn't show anything. They just talked about, they'll be finishing up soon and they'll be in the editing process. Win or loss for DC this Comic-Con? Because I think they will be having something that we're not expecting soon. I think they're going to probably do that DC fandom again. They just probably haven't announced it yet because they don't have anything. They're kind of under the weather. But what do you think? Win or loss?
For me, I say it's a win, really. You know, the Penguin, I watched the trailer. It looks good. I'm interested, especially with the Batman. Builds up the world, so I can expect more from Penguin and other villains in the Batman universe, really.
I mean, the Penguin, I'm hoping, is going to give that whole Tony Soprano gangster Italian mafia type feel. It looks like that's what we're kind of getting, what we should have gotten with Gotham after that first couple of seasons with Gotham, but it looks very promising. Manny, what are some of your thoughts on the stuff that DC showed over Comic-Con?
I think I'm gonna agree with Locke. I'm gonna say it's a small win, only because there's no expectations. So like you can't sit here and be like, oh, they just showed the next Batman movie, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I think this way, with how much they showed and like how little, it's a small W, because that means you could see what they're coming out. And to be fair, they only showed us really 3 things: the logo, Penguin, and
they didn't have
Creature.
much.
Yeah, but I think as an audience, you're like, yeah, that's a small W, because that means you gave us three things to really pay attention to. We don't gotta worry about like the Batman or Superman or Green Lantern, all of this information all at once. So I think it's a small win just because they didn't get our hopes up high for anything. It was like, yo, here's Penguin, here's what we're doing, here's a logo. All right, nothing too crazy to where you're like, yeah, can't wait for that. Like, you put so much expectations on it, and if it's not what it is, you're gonna just hate it and you're gonna be upset. You're like, wow, can't believe I waited. At least this way, the way they did it, it's like, all right, we know what's coming. Nothing, maybe not too much hype around it, but that's good because that means they don't have to hold themselves to a standard they're not ready for.
Yeah.
With Marvel, though, I think it's way different, just because their standards of movies are what you would expect. Like, when you think Marvel, you would think it's going to be hyped. The expectations are way too high.
Yeah.
And this time, I think DC did it right. We're like, hey, we're not going to be that crazy. Small win. At the same time, I guess you could say it's a loss, just because the news people wanted to hear weren't there.
Yeah, I personally wanted some news on the Green Lantern show. I wanted some casting because it's been greenlit, and I don't think usually if you get greenlit, especially from HBO, you don't greenlit unless you have somebody in mind to play Green Lantern. But you know what? I agree with you guys. It's a win. It's a quiet win because you don't have much. I mean, there was no real superhero movies besides Marvel that came out this year. I mean, there were some, but it wasn't like the major hitters.
We also got to remember that it's a full rebuild right now.
It is.
It's a full rebuild, so they really don't have much they can show us, just because they're going through a whole brand new rebuild with what they have and what they can show.
Yeah, but some were expecting maybe, Superman showing flight. Maybe they gotten that done. But I'm glad that they didn't show anything of that caliber, because it's more or less, you don't want to get that expectations. In years past, before, they would come out and crush Comic-Con, and then the movie come out and you're like, wow, that was a
like when we all heard Justice League was coming out.
Yeah, when Justice League, or when they first announced Batman vs. Superman, I was super hyped. I was hard for 4 months. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to get explained. But when you heard that announcement at Comic-Con, you were like, yo, it's on.
I can't wait for Christian Bale to do the same thing. Robert Downey Jr.
I'm pretty sure
same mask, same task.
But see, and then we're going to transition to that, and we're going to strictly talk about it. I think, from Marvel's standpoint, it was a win, but it was a win that they needed because of the stuff that they've done for Phase 5. Now, just to give a little rundown of what Marvel's done, most of their panels were blah because they have celebrations coming up next in the next couple of weeks as well. They're going to probably divulge.
Wolverine Deadpool was one of their
Deadpool was their biggest thing.
I think
so
that was
they
like
want to take
most
that
of
away.
Thursdays or Fridays panel anyway.
It was Thursdays. They did Deadpool and Wolverine, and surprisingly, they showed the movie for that audience, which was really great and special for that. But they showed basically everything. We kind of figured they showed more footage of Captain America 4, brought the cast out. They showed Thunderbolts, said, oh, the cast is here. They showed a little bit. They didn't show too much. And then they showed Fantastic Four, little still images. They finally gave basically the title of it, and here's the image right here for it. But honestly, it wasn't nothing until they brought out the Russos. They're doing basically the new Avengers movies will be out 2026 and 2027. And it's called, the first one is going to be Doctor Doom, or Doomsday. Doomsday, that comes out in 2026. And Secret Wars, what we all kind of expect, is coming out in 2027. Mm-hmm. Doomsday sets up that day. So in the process of them bringing out the Russo brothers, they said they needed an actor. The quietest secret ever was Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Dr. Doom, or Victor Von Doom, from what they said specifically.
I think that's a huge W, just because I guess everyone expected it to be Iron Man again. But this time around,
that's not saying Iron Man isn't going to be in it. Iron Man will be in it, but
I don't mean it like that. I just meant like coming prior to this.
Oh, you mean what?
All week, everyone when anybody talked about Chris Evans or it was Robbie Downey Jr. coming back, it was always them coming back as only Iron Man or Captain America.
Yeah.
No one ever had, they might come back as somebody else.
But if you watch Deadpool, you know that they have many other characters that they've played. But to me, I'll say this: it was a win that Marvel needed, because the last 5-6 movies, maybe, besides minus Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because that was phenomenal. It was a chef's kiss ending to that. Have been flops, or projects, not movies, but projects that they put out. The Marvels, quiet flop, but it worked, but it wasn't great Marvel standards. Nothing has hit over really $1 billion for them. Deadpool and Wolverine will probably be the first Marvel film in the last 3 years that hit $1 billion. So the news of Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doom really set off a tidal wave, and we'll get more into that specifically. But winner or loss for Marvel from this Comic-Con?
I don't think it's a big win. Like, even with Deadpool, I don't think that's a big win, because Deadpool's already established.
Yeah.
That's already a fantastic series. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy. When they say we're making another Guardians of the Galaxy, same thing. It's
there's a caveat to that. If it's Guardians of the Galaxy with James Gunn, yes. But if they're just saying we're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy, it's going to be some skepticism. But I get what you're saying.
So it's already established. So I'm waiting for new projects to come out, or something or anything new that they can build up without any multiverse kind of things.
And what Secret Wars is supposedly going to be the end of the multiverse thing. It's over, supposedly. We'll see. I doubt it, because you have American Chavez who can travel interdimensionally in multiverse. She'll if she's a major character after Secret Wars, we'll see.
Does Spider-Man 4 come out before or after those two movies?
That's another question.
I think I saw it was supposed to be 4, right?
They haven't done anything. Sony has been kind of backpedaling on their deal with Marvel. Nothing has been solid. Talks have been in play that Toby could possibly come back. Andrew could possibly come back.
Don't they need Spider-Man
let's just say
Secret Wars?
Let's just say this: a Spider-Man will be in Secret Wars.
I know Spider-Man will be in Secret Wars.
Don't know if they're going to do a Spider-Man 4.
As crazy as it sounds, I think it's gotta be Tom Holland. If it's still RDJ.
Well,
I
don't think so.
I think his what's it called? His Peter Parker, depending on how they do this movie, would have a lot of character development if he sees Tony Stark, but it's not Tony Stark,
That's a great, interesting story. We'll get in it, but specifically with the Marvels and their comic, it was a appetizer.
Who would you prefer to see though? Andrew, Tom, or Toby?
I don't care, as long as it makes sense. As long as it makes logical sense.
To do that Wolverine and Hulk movie thing.
That's you still probably can't, because you got to remember
the way they did it. I think it's not possible now.
We'll touch on that, but with celebrations coming up and with a gaggle of probably more announcements, more casting announcements, possibly at celebrations. This was a good win because it showed the audience, hey, we're back.
Yeah.
We have it under control. We understood. We listened to you. We know we've been dropping the ball. And I'm going to say this, and as a DC guy, I like Marvel as well, but I'm mainly a DC guy. It showed me that they had to tighten their belt because James Gunn is somebody that they've worked with and know his work ethic. And they know if we don't succeed, he will. And once Superman, and well, not even Superman, Creature Commandos, I believe, will probably be a solid, quiet win because it was something that's different. And
It looks like a fun show.
It looks like a fun show, almost like the Harley Quinn show. If you haven't watched it, it's a great show on HBO Max. If it's anywhere in that element of that, it's a win. But look, you're going to get Superman coming next year, Supergirl the following year. You're going to get a Green Lantern show, a Wonder Woman show, and then a Batman show, and then something else, and you're going to be like, woo, wow, they got something. And then you turn around and you're like, well, we're already on Secret Wars, and that's it. And then they're going to be like, oh, well, we have all this other stuff on DC that we still have to do.
I'm still waiting for a Nightwing movie or show.
A possibility. So
I've been waiting for like 10 years for that.
But the main coup de grace was that RDJ is Dr. Doom. And just another breaking news moment of it, he will probably be making $100 million with each movie because he's going to get points on it, which will make him $100 million for each movie, which will cause some nerves because if he's automatically getting $100 million, how much is this budget of the movies going to be? Who's getting another slice of the pie? If you're bringing back Chris Evans and you're bringing back Andrew Garfield,
I guess it depends. I mean, to be fair, just based on what these two movies were meant to be, we could probably see one of our first ever more than $500 million budget for a movie. It is possible now. I think with what these two are, because these two are supposed to be the next two movies are coming up, Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah,
they're probably the end of an era. People don't understand that.
That multiverse era is supposed to be ended.
That's their end of an era. So you could probably say that this could be the two movies where they decide to really make sure they can get as much right and as much perfect as they can. So this could probably be, and let's be honest, it's Disney. Disney has money to burn.
Yes.
This could easily be the first, probably in a while, a movie with a budget so high that they might not even just tell us. They might be like, hey, it's an undisclosed budget, but we'll see what happens.
This could very well be $1 billion budget, honestly, with these two movies to combine.
This all depends on if you can. You probably even take some of that movie, that budget movie. You could probably convince RDJ and Chris Evans to probably do another movie.
I think this is it. I think after Secret Wars, no more Chris Evans, no more RDJ, no more Chris Hemsworth.
Whoa. Actually, no, we talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. I think that will probably be in the Secret Wars, which will probably be funny. I know exactly what you're going with it. But I don't think your main core, I don't even think you're going to get Hulk after this. I think they're going to solely focus after Secret Wars on a mutant verse and build that up and that have their own little universe inside of the Marvel while sprinkling Deadpool, Spider-Man, and a gaggle of other Marvel
let's
superheroes.
Not forget, they also showed
Thunderbolts?
No, what's his name? Galactus.
They did show Galactus in Fantastic Four. He's one of the villains. He'll probably be the main villain in the Fantastic Four. But
did you see him?
I'm more excited for Fantastic Four than Avengers.
You know what? That's a good question, right? With the last two incarnations of, well, there's three, but the last two that I'm pretty sure that y'all know about, of Fantastic Four, do you feel like this could possibly work if it wasn't for Marvel? Like, if this was back at where they were before, which was Fox, would you care? Or do you care now because it's at Marvel?
I didn't get because I watched the Fantastic Four when it came out. And
The original with
as childhood, yes.
Yeah.
As a child, I loved the movie because I didn't know nothing about the universe. So now I'm like, yeah, I'm ready for it.
Marvel's first family, basically.
Me personally, I'm not excited. The last two movies ruined it.
That's fair.
I can't stand here and be like, yeah, I'm excited. Just it's like if you were to tell me right now, hey, are you excited to see the Marvels too? It's like the first one kind of ruined it for you. Are you?
But I understand exactly. That's why I asked that question because a lot of people are excited about Fantastic Four.
I'm excited to see if they can get it right because I truly believe that the Fantastic Four as a core group should already be
already established.
Because like I think back then, how they did it, it was established. It was great. Everyone loved it. No one had a problem with any of the characters because we could all agree like Chris Evans was Johnny in that movie.
He was, and Michael B. Jordan was Johnny in the second one. They've had great casting.
Even who played the Thing? What's his name? I can't remember.
I can't think of his name.
But he was a great.
They've had
was great too.
all of them. Every both of the renditions, even the older ones, because I don't remember the very first one, but I know that there was one. But even in the two renditions that they did, there've been great casting. The problem has been storytelling, and it's hard to tell a story with those four because it's like, well, you have to introduce Doom, or
are we gonna see an end credit that has to do with RDJ as Doomsday?
Yes, I believe
Dr. Doom.
I don't think you'll see him be.
But
Dr.
now
Doom.
my question would be though, if he's somehow there, wouldn't we be getting a Fantastic movie with RDJ as gonna be Doom?
It's complicated because as set right now, this Fantastic Four is set in the 1960s. They're in another universe, and whatever battle happens between them and Galactus transforms them into the current sacred timeline of the Marvel universe. And I don't know how this Doom gets into play. Maybe he's been around, and maybe because obviously they've whitewashed Kang. Kang is like whatever. He's over here now.
Who is he?
Kang.
Who?
I don't even know. I don't know because they just said whatever. Whatever that happened, all that other stuff didn't happen. So now that he's gone and Doom steps in,
Loki season 3 is gonna be so weird.
If there even is a season 3 now, because now this is why when we get into Deadpool and Wolverine, it's kind of they muddled it with doing this decision. So with the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom in the loom, it's more or less they had to announce that it's Robert Downey Jr. because of what you've set up so far with the multiverse. And this is where we're going to go and try to transition into the spoilers of Deadpool and Wolverine, just for a little bit.
Before we do that real quick, either of you, any theories or anything you're hoping that happens in the movies?
In both movies? I have
just
nothing.
the Fantastic Four.
Oh, just in Fantastic Four?
What's something that you want to be able to see?
Just make it make sense.
No. I'm not talking about the story, not a bad part. Like, just individually, from the Fantastic Four universe, what would you like? Like, would you like to see a quick cameo of the Silver Surfer?
She's in it.
Oh, yeah, it's a she, that,
It's
right?
a she. It's not... and please get over it. There is a female Silver Surfer in the comics. It's been established already. Stick it out your ass. It's over, all right? Yes, the Silver Surfer is supposed to be the main one, but this is a different rendition.
Now, at the same time, when it comes to this movie, they're already established in their universe, right?
They've already been established. They've already been heroes. There's no origin in terms of... So
that's what I mean. Is there something from... I guess the what I'm trying to explain is, like, would you like them to go over something that they already did? Like, see a quick battle, maybe them versus somebody else?
You know what I want to see? I want to see a start of the end of the multiverse. I want Reed to have an equation that he's been working on that can start and finish the multiverse that he couldn't finish because he had to fight Galactus. If you can tie that in and it can weave his way into the other movies, you got me. Now, boom, it makes sense. All right, now we can go in here where we can displace and stuff like that. And like I said, we're going to jump into Deadpool and Wolverine in just a second. But we're going to talk a little bit because of the muddled stuff that Deadpool kind of put in. Is the anchor being in their universe causes a rift? to why they got to jump into this universe. Well, not jump in, because I don't know what happened. We don't know the script or anything. We just know they're here, and then they go and they get put right here. So, with that said, if you've been living under a rock.
One more time. I'm going to pause. You think we'll get that that Doctor Doom scene with Thanos?
I would love that, but I don't think they'll do that.
You don't think so?
What if
I would
Thanos
love
is
that.
the anchor beam?
That would be awesome.
And they recreate the scene. That's what
It that would be. I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they'll do that with him. I think they'll do that with Kang.
That would be a good way to.
And that's why Kang, the supposedly real, the one that was supposed to be the big bad, but now isn't. I think they'll do that with him. I think Kang was supposed to be like, Dr. Doom, what the hell are you doing here? Says, what the fuck you doing here? And then he just plops out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
So I
easy.
guess the only way to retcon Kane for you would be to instead of him taking Thanos' spine and skull out of him, it's gonna be Kane.
Yeah, just only because that would make more sense. But like I said, if you've been living in a rock, which I hope you haven't, Deadpool and Wolverine just played and is crushing box office. It's breaking all type of record. We're going to get into heavy spoilers. If you haven't watched it, save, come back after you go watch it. Watch it now.
If you haven't watched it and you can't get tickets, look at YouTube. Someone uploaded the whole movie.
YouTube, Twitter, it's going to get leaked everywhere because it's the hottest movie, social media event of the season.
Definitely Twitter.
We're gonna. I want 3 likes, 3 dislikes after I break down basically the movie. So basically, in this movie, Deadpool's a bitch. Don't know what happened after the second movie. I'm guessing because after he saved everyone from the second movie, if you remember, he had Cable's time thing, and he saved everyone. I'm guessing after he did all the saving he could, Vanessa's like, well, what else you got? He's like, all right, fuck that. I'm going to go to the Avengers. Which is kind of complicated because how the hell did he get to the Avengers main timeline if he's in this universe? But again, I digress.
Didn't that just mean that
I know.
Logan
I know. Hold on.
the Avengers timeline?
I know. Hold on. So in the midst of that, Avengers said, nah, you're too dangerous. Get the hell out of here. So he goes into depression. After his depression, the TVA, or a Black Ops TVA basically, says, hey, we have a job for you. Do this, and we can save you, and we can put you with Marvel. You can have sex with Thor and all this other stuff, yada, yada, yada. Right? Crazy joke.
Shit, we never saw Chris Evans holding Deadpool.
No, we didn't.
Just remember.
Right? They said, oh, your universe is dying because Wolverine is dead. And he says, fuck you, I'm going to go find that Wolverine. And then we go through all this stuff where he finds the Wolverine and basically he has to do this. Once he gets the Wolverine, they get put in the null void. Battle with, obviously, Professor X's sister, which a lot of people didn't know or knew, but kind of felt like it was spoiled. They saved the day. They became buddies with a bunch of other heroes. And they saved the day. That's a quick rundown. The main issue I had with the story of the movie that I had, I'm just going to put this out there right now, is the storytelling in itself. I didn't mind the story. It flowed right. It worked. It was quick. It made sense. What didn't make sense was the anchor being.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and tell the audience Wolverine's dead because he died in Logan years later, and because he dies, your universe is dead. So that means any other superhero that has died that you can consider an anchor being should be...
I thought it was because of all the timelines he did.
But see, that's why they didn't explain it correctly and why that part of it was muddled.
I don't like the anchor part. Just because I feel like if we're considering the big picture, I guess when you think of the main multiverse right now,
yeah,
who's the anchor in that?
But
I feel like we've lost so many.
That's what I said. Is it Captain America? Is it?
But it can't
Iron
be
Man
them because they're dead.
But that's what I'm saying. Are they the anchor being?
Well, that's what I'm trying to think now. Is like
it was a stupid plot point. I get the plot point because you needed something to get Deadpool to get the Wolverine. But it was stupid. You could have just said, yo, we're destroying your world because we just feel like it. And
me, personally, what I didn't dislike about the movie, and I think this is my top one, It's that it didn't explain what happened to Wolverine's universe.
Not fully. They did not. No, they
Just
did.
because, as far as I know, they still plugged him out of his universe and brought him into a different universe that he has nothing to do with.
Yeah.
So my thing is, though, that universe, that time and fate was going the way it was going, has to change now because Logan from that universe is never going to be there to do whatever the plan for his fate in that universe was.
It wasn't. And
to me, it makes no sense because you were able to just drop him into Deadpool's universe, which at this moment we got the debate. Does that mean Logan and Deadpool's universe is the same thing?
Again, that's why I said that part was muddled. I didn't like that. Minus the cameos, the action, and the side story plot lines of the movie, it worked. It wasn't too complicated. Minus the complications that you probably notice. If you just go in there and you're like, I want to enjoy the movie, it worked. Now, give me 3 things from the movie that you like.
3 things I like? I gotta start with a dislike.
Give me one dislike. This is a whole spoiler thing.
Ryan Reynolds did not get pegged.
He did not get what?
He did not get pegged.
Oh. We don't know because he pooped. We don't know because he pooped. So maybe he got pegged and that's probably why he pooped.
I've been waiting since the first one.
Oh my God.
They didn't happen in the second movie.
No, they didn't. They've been doing a lot.
I know. In all seriousness, it was a great movie. I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack was amazing for me.
Listen, they got Madonna to sign off on it, and with NSYNC.
I mean, that was cool.
It was great. I mean,
Summer Nights. I mean, not Summer Nights. Grease.
Yeah, Grease Lightning.
It wasn't Grease Lightning.
Was it Grease Lightning? No, it was Summer Nights. You're right.
No, it wasn't Summer Nights.
What was it? I don't know.
It's the last movie. The last song they sing together.
I don't even. You're the one I want. There it is. Boom. Right. That was great. All right. So give me, instead of 3 likes, give me 1 like.
1 like?
Because then, you know what? Give me your. We'll start it off like this. We'll go off through the likes, and we'll go from bit, from beginning to the end. Then we'll travel back to dislikes. So I'll start it off. The best opening scene from a comic book was Deadpool because he did bye 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 while killing countless TVA agents with an adamantium skull, skeleton. Awesome. Didn't expect it. So Deadpool. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. And that was awesome.
I like the beginning, like also same thing, and I did like how they included the TVA. Really, they acknowledged TVA, so it's not like that was in Loki only. So I appreciated that.
Wasn't that an Ant-Man?
It was an Ant-Man too.
Was it?
For a little bit.
The quantum universe.
Yeah, for a little bit.
But still, I still appreciate that they fully acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Not like that happened in the Loki show. We don't.
No, I know because I think it might have been Marvel's. It might have been. It wasn't in Shang-Chi. Might have been in She-Hulk. It was a lot of stuff that they're like, oh, what's this? And they're like, nothing. And just moved on. But
besides like the big ones that most people like, my first one's gonna be Gambit. The costume, perfect. It was literally a perfect comic book costume.
Yeah,
like it was. People
went down to the T.
You know, Channing Tatum played him.
I knew that. Did he tell you about that?
Yes.
About the Channing Tatum thing?
Yeah.
And for those, when we went to watch the movie, and Gambit came out, I did not know it was Channing Tatum until Deadpool and Wolverine jumped to the portal and they showed like Blade and all of them. Like,
yeah. It was a shock because Channing Tatum was getting a Gambit movie, and
happy birthday, Ma!
He was getting a Gambit movie, and they cut it because they didn't think Channing Tatum could do it. But now it might not
be cut anymore.
Which is odd because honestly, after watching it and seeing how good it was, he might actually get a movie.
I was teased so much because I saw Blade and then Gambit. I was telling me, I was like, holy shit, is the Midnight Suns coming out?
That was a tease.
And I was expecting Ghost Rider. Then I was like, Ghost Rider.
Look, I know they couldn't get Nicolas Cage. That would
have been perfect.
It's like, imagine Nicolas Cage.
But he's also too overpowered.
But I will say this.
Yeah.
Even the one thing, I would say, like, when they showed Gambit fighting, like, when he did the whole cards thing, and then he started sticking them, I feel like people aren't appreciating how good that was, because that is Gambit style.
perfect.
Like the way he was doing all of that, that's what Gambit.
If you
his
watch
style is just
the
like
X-Men '97 stuff and you looked at it was almost like copy and paste. He
I guess
performed
the only
tremendously.
issue with Channing Tatum, which it's not a bad issue, he's too buff to play Gambit.
Well, I think that was the costume, and I think they did that on purpose.
But I mean, him physically, he is a bigger person.
Yes.
He's not in a bad way. I'm not saying he's bad in any way. I think just it's like when people compare like Ben Affleck's to like the other
Batman.
He's a bigger guy, so his suit obviously made bigger. I think that was the only issue with Channing Tatum. It's not his fault, obviously, but I think he was just a bit too big for what people really think about when you think Gambit.
If they were to say, "Hey, Channing, we really loved. A lot of people loved your rendition of Gambit. We're going to greenlight it," I think he would fit the mold better. I think they just like, "Hey, you want to do it?" He's like, "Fuck yeah, I'll do it. I'll come through."
I will give.
And he probably was
Ryan
already
Reynolds.
buff.
I feel like giving him his moment to shine, just because I will say this, they gave him a moment to shine.
Yeah.
Like they gave him at least 3 minutes to really just when the camera was just solely focused on him.
Yeah.
I think those 3 minutes of his spotlight really got a lot of people to go like, yeah, that was actually.
Well,
really
see,
good.
here's the caveat again, and I'm using caveat a lot. I think a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum only works if it's Sean Levy directing. If you give it anybody else, because I think Gambit is almost like in a Deadpool, that not the breaking of the third wall, but I think it needs to be comical because he is kind of a funny guy.
But it has
while
to be,
trying to be serious, if you try to be too serious with him, it's not going to work because the line where he says, "Hey, I shot out my daddy's penis, and then when I got to my mama, I shot out her vagina," was fucking hilarious. And I was like, he didn't write that. Ryan Reynolds wrote that, and they said, "Say
but I feel
it like
that.
that."
You got to give him credit. That could.
Oh, he delivered the line
Yeah.
tremendously, but it was like, you didn't write that or come up with that. He came up with that because no way you're that dirty. Even though he's been in some stuff where Channing Tatum has actually been very comical in 22 Jump Street and a whole bunch of other
Magic
stuff.
Mike.
And Magic Mike as well. That's like, I've never seen it, but I've heard stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
No.
I'll give my first dislike. My first dislike, honestly, it's a small thing, but I think it's big enough to make it a fair point. I didn't like when Wesley Snipes was coming out. I think the CGI that they used on him wasn't good.
It was a
Like
little
the way
bit
he was walking out. I think the CGI just wasn't good right there. And I think it's because they were trying too hard to give us his old physique.
Yeah,
Because obviously his new physique isn't up to what Blade is.
I think. Oh my god! Do me a fact check if you have your phone with you. Tell me how old Wesley Snipes. I'm going to guess it. I'm going to say he's 63 years old. He did great though.
No. I think
but I understand what you're saying.
I
Because
think it was the CGI of him walking out. It was
walking
too
out.
AI.
Yeah.
Because to me, I was like, when I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, is that AI?
It looked weird. So I think it probably was. I think he probably was too much into the character. I was like, come on, do it back. They probably did 15 million takes.
61 years old.
He's 61. Wow.
that was my first dislike, and I think it was just that small bit that ruined the Blade character for me right there. Just because I was happy to get Wesley
he was a
back.
complete surprise.
Yeah,
I
did
didn't
not see that
expect
coming.
Blade. I've heard they was Blade is going to be. I was like, I don't see why Blade is not really in Fox. Why would you do that? And all right, sure, why not?
But it was just that the CGI kind of ruined it for me because I think they tried to use CGI on him a bit too much in some scenes, and they made his character just pop out too much.
Well, the reason why they did that, and the same reason what they did with Spider-Man, they cut him out CGI wise because if they were going to use that footage on trailers, he couldn't be in it.
That's true.
And in with the Spider-Man, where you saw 3 monsters coming in and one Spider-Man, you're like, something's wrong here. Something like that. They did with that.
I get that, but even to your point though, I would say that is when they did the whole 3 Spider-Mans thing. Yeah. Even the CGI there was way better than the CGI in this movie.
Yeah,
I feel like this CGI was literally done by Lalo on a computer. They're like, "Yo, try to figure this out." And he was like, "All right."
good.
It's look, some of the in the movie, some of the CGI was fantastic. But
yeah.
Give me one of your another like or dislike from the movie.
My like was the car fight scene. That was one of the
when Wolverine and Deadpool was hilarious.
It was.
That's when Grease started playing.
Yes, it was.
To me, that was the best fight scene.
favorite fight scenes I've seen. Especially they contained it in the car.
Yes.
I thought they were going out of the car, but no, they stayed in the Odyssey.
Oh,
and
look,
they showed it off.
when my wife's favorite scene is when they smashed Deadpool or was it Wolverine head into the radio, and then the Greatest Showman song came on, and then they clicked it off real quick because they couldn't keep the whole song. But that fight scene was because like it was contained, but it was
creative what they had.
It was very creative, but it felt like Deadpool and Wolverine because that scene before the fight scene was so great because in that moment, Deadpool is basically telling Wolverine, look, I don't fucking know if those guys can save your world or anything like that. I just need you to help me save mine. And Wolverine said, basically, you're a prick and nobody likes you and all this stuff.
To be honest, it was very realistic.
It was realistic. It felt hard. And you kind of felt bad for Deadpool. I'm like, oh, man, like all he wants to do is just save his world.
About this movie, too, is like the character development that they've given Deadpool in terms of like, I never give a fuck to like, shit, like I gotta start slowly telling the truth now more than later. Like even when he had to tell Wolverine they might not be able to save him, like you could tell that it was actually like him being like, oh, I gotta do the responsible thing now and actually tell him instead of like we'll figure it out later still.
Yeah, and I think that's why in the beginning scene of him going to Happy, which is still weird because how the fuck again, multiverse, him going to the Avengers and saying, look, I need this. I have nothing, and my wife or my woman at the time basically are saying you need to do something that matters to you, or not to you, but to matter to the world, and he didn't know how to fucking do that.
That's not the message I got.
Well, the only reason why I say that's the message because I guarantee, and they should have shown this in the exposition. The reason why Vanessa was probably pissed at Deadpool for bringing them back is because he didn't do it for them; he did it for him. And that's probably why she was like, look, you need to do something. If you're going to bring me back, I'm happy to be back. But look, do something for everyone, for the world, not just for you. And he was like, all right, fuck it, I'll do the Avengers. They save the world all the time.
See, I got that. But I feel like at the same time, like, when he was telling her, like, you need to do something that matters, I feel like she was just like, I think she just wanted him to put her first for once.
Yeah.
I think that's the message I got is like, yo, just show me that you care about me. Like me, not about you having to save the world for me. It's like, just show that you care about me. That's what I thought at first, because that's what it made it sound like.
And this is why the storytelling was kind of, it's a bloody fucking mess at the storytelling.
Because
they were trying to tell both of it.
Did you see the rating IGN gave Deadpool?
No.
6 out of 10.
Well, a lot of people.
That's why we don't talk about it.
I've
never seen a review from them.
At first, I think Rotten Tomatoes had it at 65, and audiences had it at 94. I think the rating has changed over time. Listen, if you're going strictly movie based wise for the movie, it fucking sucks in terms of storytelling. Sucks because if you look at it, you're like, why does this guy need to do this to go do that? You could easily do a better story transition if he just says, this is your problem, this is how you solve it, this is how you get there, and this is the end of it. But for a straight comic book Deadpool movie, it works because you have all the exposition from past and the exposition from the Wolverine while still trying to learn about this new Wolverine and getting the old Wolverine's emotions added while both of them are trying to come together to save the world. So it worked in that aspect.
Now my other thing, because this is another thing I dislike now. So is there 2 X-23s? Is that what we've established?
That's what I was thinking about, like everyone being in the void. What was her name? Charles Xavier's sister?
Casanova.
Cassandra?
Yeah, Cassandra Nova.
Cassandra.
I said
She said that Doctor Strange was even in the void.
Or a version of Doctor Strange.
I don't think they said Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
they said it was somebody with
a wizard.
She said a wizard with the ring, but she
which
never said
could have been a Doctor Strange or a Wong. We don't know.
Could have been a Nate.
It could have been.
I feel like they were just still implying Doctor Strange, though.
It was because Deadpool then says, "Oh, Doctor Strange," so we kind of figure is that. Look,
but maybe that's just the trial to throw us off.
That's why It
could have been Nate. I'm just saying.
2027 or 2028. Whenever Secret Wars come out, 2027. Can't get here faster because I am done with the multiverse. It's too complicated. It's like trying to put a puzzle together
But
with
I guess
that.
Is that the synopsis? Is that there's 2 X-23s?
No, I think
As far as we know,
there's multiple
Logan-
X-23s. The problem is they didn't establish it, but this X-23 is supposedly from the Logan universe, which is odd because if the Logan universe is entitled with the Deadpool universe, why is this dying and why is she in the void? That's why I said it's stupid. It's fucking stupid with the anchor being thing because it doesn't work with that. But one of the cool things that they showed was the multiple versions of Wolverine. Fuck you, Marvel, because you didn't have to do that. You hit below the belt with the cavalry. All right, you didn't need to do that. All right, we know we thrown them to the trash. All right, but you didn't have to pick them up like that, you bastards. Which was a cool scene either way because he did the cocking of the guns and he's still looking muscular as shit, which is crazy.
Gotta love the fact that they showed a comic book accurate Wolverine.
If they really did that, where he's like 5'1", people would be like, "No, that doesn't look right," and it was hilarious that they showed him. One quick point before we continue on with the spoilers. I know I've seen a lot of hate thrown towards Deadpool and Wolverine because of the religious aspects of it, because he calls himself the Messiah. I know why, because the one scene when he went to go find Wolverine and he's on the X and it's a bunch of blood and bones and stuff like that, people got too fucking religious for it, and while he's calling himself Messiah, you need to grow the fuck up.
A lot of disrespect to religion these days. You got the Paris Olympics.
We'll get into that. Y'all need to grow up, honestly. If you really felt as though that they're trying to say that Ryan Reynolds is Jesus or even Deadpool is Jesus, you grow the fuck up, honestly.
Deadpool is Jesus.
He's Jesus
but
it's
Peter.
not. It's
Peter saved the universe.
Oh my god!
If it wasn't for him showing up, they would have kept fighting.
That's true.
Him showing up and them going like, "Oh, it's Peter," got them the ability to leave.
Hold on, we're gonna get in there. But the fact that I've seen multiple posts of, I had to walk out because of my religious beliefs and all this other stuff. If you watched the movie, but you probably wasn't able to watch the movie because if you was really that religious, you shouldn't have went to the movies anyway.
Especially an R-rated movie.
R-rated movie anyway, right? The fact is, it's art. They literally put Jesus on a cross with blood in some pictures. Get the fuck over it. You're a baby. Moving back to the movie. So we're basically there. They've made it out after getting oh my god, I can't. Jennifer Garner, Elektra. We get X-23. We get that little exposition between her and Logan. Blade and Gambit. The one funniest line that I'm still dying to this fucking day, when they hand him the bazooka, they hand Blade the bazooka, and he says, "I'm Blade. There's ever gonna be one Blade." And Deadpool looks at the fucking camera and is like, had me rolling because see, on one side, he's right. And on the other side, he still could be right. Because at this point, we don't know what's going on with Blade. But that line was just hilarious because it was like, yeah, maybe. So that line was funny.
Did you see the interview with him recently?
With Wesley Snipes, and he said, because there's been rumors that him and Ryan Reynolds were beefing. No, it was never him. It was the director and the other short little actor, that funny guy.
Well, yeah, because Wesley Snipes said that when he got a message from Ryan Reynolds, he was like, "Why did he text me? He hates me."
Yeah, and he thought it was the opposite way.
Well, no, he clarified. He said that they've talked about it before, and they don't hate each other, but they keep playing as they do for the fact that someone started, and they're just going to continue.
It's the same thing with him and Hugh Jackman. It was like a love-hate relationship. But
he did say that when he got the phone call and he was like, "Hey, you want to try to do Blade?" and he's like, "I don't know if Fox is gonna let you grab me." Then you have what's his name, Mashar.
No, he wasn't. It wasn't Fox. Marvel. He wasn't sure Disney and Marvel was gonna let that happen because of Mahershala Ali was gonna be. But they were like, "Well, that's taking forever, so fuck it, bring him in."
Well, I think he said that Disney was like, well, it was Ryan Reynolds' call apparently.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, they said yeah, and he did it.
because I'm this is no, it's
Spoiler
not
alert,
spoiler.
as we're all spoiling.
It's not spoiler. I'm gonna say this is all speculation. I have no inside information. I want to believe wholeheartedly that Ben Affleck was going to be in this movie, but because of the shit that's going on between Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, I think somebody said I don't think that would be a good idea. So
Yeah,
let's
that's
not do that.
Daredevil's
And they was like,
dead.
oh well, if Daredevil is in it, who we going to put in there? Put Wesley Snipes.
Well, Daredevil's dead.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter.
And they hit that line beautiful. Like, oh, Daredevil's dead. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay.
That was funny. Another like Lalo said, the soundtrack.
Soundtrack was awesome.
You could honestly sit here and this. I will say this definitely had a Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack where
Kind
it
of
was
felt,
all
yeah.
big hits. Nothing was like something you didn't hear already, and most of the songs you didn't expect at the moment. To be fair, like Instinct at the beginning of the movie, no one knew. But even then, when Grease played, no one was ready for that.
was
The
fun.
last move of Madonna, like I would say, all of their songs were picked perfectly, and yet they were such good surprises that they fit without you knowing that they were fitting perfectly, and you wouldn't have accepted that because you were like, really, Grease here? And then you're like, oh, okay, it's really working. It's funny.
It worked.
So I would say the soundtrack was good. It was definitely like Guardians of the Galaxy 1, where like all the soundtrack was good, and you couldn't have hated. Like it was. The one thing I would say though is that they had so many different mixes of songs. It wasn't like just one era.
No, it was, but that's Deadpool in general. Like he just takes, certain songs that fits the moment and it works. Like X going to give it to him. Like so many on and on. But one big surprise that a lot of people thought he was going to be in, which he was in, but it wasn't him, was Chris Evans. Chris Evans was in this movie, everybody, if you don't remember. But he wasn't Steve Rogers. He was Johnny Storm.
The biggest star of them all.
And it shocked the shit out of me because I was like, oh shit, I forgot. He was Johnny Storm.
I also want to give credit to Chris Evans for cutting his hair, getting that
Oh
buzz
my god!
cut again.
And then doing the buzz cut with darkening his hair, it almost looked like what's his name, Jake Tyler or Wilder from Not Another Teen Movie. If you don't know what it is, watch that shit too. But it was just hilarious because he killed it. He had fun with it, and when he got killed, I was like, "You got Johnny Storm." I did not get him killed. He was talking shit, and then at the end, we're gonna speed forward ahead. At the end credits, there's only one end credit. He shows a fucking replay of him talking shit about Casanova, and it's like, oh my god! And it's like, it was fantastic. It was just awesome. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes because we have somebody in the studio right now that hasn't seen the movie, and we will spoil it for her in a minute.
Tina, go on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
All right.
What the hell?
Right.
But the big battle, they get out of the void, and the Deadpool army comes. Yes, it's Blake. We kind of figured it would probably be Blake. It was either Blake. I said Blake. Blair. No, it is Blake. Blake Lively. I'm sorry. His wife was going to be Lady Deadpool. We kind of figured it would. It was it. They didn't show her face because it was like, fuck that. Why were we going to show people's faces? Mm-hmm. But the whole army, Dogpool basically for me stole the movie. Every time when the dog came out, Ryan Reynolds was focused on the fucking dog. And just like Deadpool, he's like, fuck you. But
yeah, you know who else stole the show for me?
Who?
The other handsome
the
Nice
vegan,
Pool?
the
Yeah,
Nice Pool.
Nice Pool.
I love that guy. I was expecting him to come out at the end when Dogpool went back to Deadpool.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I actually had I can regen.
Yeah,
It just takes a while.
That scene when Nice Pool comes out and says, "Oh, that's the rest of the guys," and they decide to try to kill Deadpool. And Deadpool, through this whole movie, once he saw that Nice Pool had the golden Desert Eagles, he's like, "That's my mission to get those fucking guns." And in the midst of him trying to save him by taking him to the hot dog stand,
because there's a medical
there's a medical supply over there. Just stand right in front of me. And all the other Deadpools are fucking shooting Nice Pool to death. He's like, it is what it is. And then,
he gets to the car with Wolverine.
The Wolverine
Before the car.
But before Wolverine walks over, he has the dog, and all the other Deadpools are like, don't shoot. That puppy is fucking amazing. And he just walks. He was like, I don't know what happened.
I was actually thinking they were gonna kill the baby.
Baby Deadpool.
When he was just sitting there laughing before they all came back.
But Baby Deadpool has regenerative powers. So they go through this whole.
There's only one.
Right before they go to the big battle, Hugh Jackman dons the full-fledged costume, wears the mask, and looks awesome. Listen, just to give a backstory on why he didn't wear the costume, the Matrix, when the first X-Men came out, the Matrix was pretty much the big shit, and it was all black leather. And they figured, well, to try to make, the environment the same, we're going to wear black leather as well. Right, and it was the worst decision ever, because if you went traditional, I think you probably would have did a little bit better. It worked for this time, but just seeing Wolverine in full costume and seeing all the other costumes, the Apocalypse costume, the one in orange and yellow when he's fighting Hulk, him in his regular jumpsuit, small Wolverine, old Logan Wolverine. That's the shit that we like to see. And while I am against the red trunks, it's Superman, so he wears red trunks, so he wants to see it. As comic book fans, as cartoon animated fans, we've seen this stuff, and we want to see certain shit on screen portrayed correctly. You don't have to do it exactly as you see it on the books or in TV, but you can make it so it's like, oh, okay, it's blue and yellow, and he has the mask. That's Wolverine.
I will say this: there's one thing I disliked about
the costume.
Wolverine costume.
What?
And it was his mouth.
Why?
I think.
Oh, because the beard wasn't bearding?
It's not that. I feel like throughout the movie, his beard wasn't so kept well, and that was the point of it. But once he put on the mask, his beard got really shaped up.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like, it looks like it's somebody else now. Like, to me, the whole time I was looking at the face, I was like, that doesn't look like it's supposed to be Hugh Jackman. It looks like somebody else, because the beard just doesn't look the same like it looked throughout the movie.
Remember, he's going to be doing this until he's a 90.
Which I get, but my problem was the moment he put on the helmet, great moment, but then you see how the beard looked, and I was like, oh, it looks like it to me, it just looked like it went from Hugh Jackman to somebody else with a better body.
9 times out of 10 it probably was. No, well, it wasn't. I can tell you this for a fact. The last scene, that was him. That was totally him. But in the midst of him putting on the mask, they go and kill the whole...
I think if you just go back and see that moment again, you'll see what I mean.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. We're watching it 2 more times. But right now, tomorrow, we're watching Long Legs. So I have to watch this. My wife needs to watch it, supposedly. So we're watching Long Legs. But Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be watched 2 more times. Because, if you don't have it, you should get it. If you don't have your local AMC Stubs membership, you should get one. It's free. You get 3 free movies a month. As well as, I'm trying to get a sponsor, guys. Or if you have Regal, they have the Regal something like that too as well. I don't like Regal. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a real.
We go on the Bears, Chicago's Bears website. Get your merch. Get some jerseys.
We're talking about good stuff here.
Win a playoff game, and then we'll say, but no.
Get your AMC, it to the playoffs.
Get your AMC.
Get 6 wins.
We won. We had 6 wins.
They had 7 wins actually last season. But get your AMC Prime membership, AMC Stub A-List, and you can get 3 free movies a month. And that's what I'm doing. No, it's a month. If it is a week, I think it might be. I don't know if it is a week.
I think it's a week. It's three free movies a week.
Oh, well, if it is, it's $25 a month. You should get it now. Anyway, but once the guys are fully locked and loaded, Golden Desert Eagle, Golden Mask, they're going to kill Deadpools. And it's an amazing sequence where they're just chopping and blowing up, and they're silly because...
Fun, real quick, though, about when they were doing that last scene. You know what I was thinking? When he had to, they were like, you gotta break both reactors and hold them to, combine.
Hold on. We're going to get there. We're close there. So in the midst of doing all this, right, Cassie Nova is downstairs. I don't know why I keep calling her Cassie Nova. It's Cassandra Nova is down there doing the whole A-bomb to the whole timeline thing, and there's a reactor.
She almost ended the multiverse.
She almost ended the multiverse, which would have been
gave you what you wanted.
But in the process of doing this, the slime ball says, hey, look, the secondary boss, bad, for the TVA says, "Oh, there's only one way to stop it. You have to hit two things at the same time." But in the process, before they even got there, after Deadpool and Wolverine killed the army of Deadpool, and they go back and they regenerate, they were saved by the one and only
The Christ.
Peter. And just to let you know, if you don't have a Peter in your life, you might die.
You need one.
Because he just came up in a Deadpool outfit, and he was fat, which I don't have no right to say.
You know, I will say here, Peter is better than Spider-Man. He
Yes.
doesn't suffer through life.
He doesn't suffer through life.
He brings people together.
Actually, he does. X-Force and all that. And once they said that, so Deadpool and Wolverine go and try to save him. But in the process of that, after the bad guy says, "Look, there's only one person that can do it," and then after you do it, you're probably going to be obliterated. Deadpool and Wolverine goes through this whole exposition of, "I should do it because I don't have anything. You have a life to live. No, you have a life to live. I don't have anything. I'll do it." And they go back and forth. So Deadpool ultimately does it, and it's the slow countdown and all this other stuff. And then right as the countdown is about to end, Wolverine comes in, hits his claws, shows his chest. Women in the audience goes crazy and wet
And
seats. And all
Went
that.
crazy.
I got so hard that I got wet, and it was an amazing scene because it's just
Well, about that scene, so I was hoping for two things when
What?
I saw that scene. The first thing was the one that was very like out of the way. Previous to watching Deadpool with you guys, I think the night before or maybe 2 days before, I saw Wayne's World,
yeah.
and I was hoping he would do the whole it blows up.
Oh,
He comes like, "This is my movie. Why would I let it end like that? Like a Wayne's World style?"
that could have been
Go
so
back.
Deadpool, but they did that in Deadpool, so they couldn't hit that well twice.
You could have.
You could have.
That way, at least, just showing that there was a bigger, like, this time, because this was a bigger disaster, this was the timeline.
Yeah.
And the second one, when I saw the way the two things were, like, posted up,
Yeah.
the first thing that popped into my head, I was like, he's about to do the Spider-Man pose during the train.
Oh, yeah, because
That's
been
because
said.
you know how he's always made fun of Spider-Man,
Yeah.
like, in the games, stuff like
A
that?
great duo.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're a great duo. In my head, I was like, is he about to just, like,
try
do
to
that?
do. They could have.
That's what I thought was going to happen. When I first saw it, I'm like, yo, are we able to get like Deadpool doing that Spider-Man? Because that would be the most Deadpool thing to do.
They could have.
Because he could have been like, I did it better, you know?
What they could have done is like he could have had his katanas, which was
That's what I was
adamantium
thinking.
either.
Because
He puts them both in, and then in the midst of that, he's about to fall, but Wolverine holds him up. It looks gay, like almost like Titanic type. Right? I'm sorry to say gay. I apologize, but it looks
he's not.
it looks very funny with them doing it that way, and then you get that still scene. But
I think
was
that
awesome
would have
either
been.
way.
I think that would have been funny. The way they did it still worked out.
It worked, yeah.
But I think just getting like that small like Spider-Man post real quick, just because you always get that whole thing between those two, Spider-Man and Deadpool.
Yeah.
I think it would have been so funny because you were like, did he just Spider-Man it real quick
He
to
could
save the
have.
world?
He could have, and it would have worked either way. But then after they save the world and everything like that, the TVA big comes out and says, "What the hell happened?" And the guy says, "Oh, my friends died." And you turn around, Wolverine and Deadpool is right there, and they said, "Nope, it was actually him. Fuck him. He's the bad guy," and they throw him away. And then basically Deadpool says,
I was upset with her too.
"Why?"
She was so nonchalant. All right, you saved the world. You, Logan, you can stay here. I don't care about the other universe.
But
that was my issue. It's like she was so like.
That's why I said this whole anchor being bullshit was stupid, because okay, if he's an anchor being and you pluck them from this universe and put them in that universe.
So now, I guess the other question now, because of the anchor beam, does this Wolverine become the anchor beam?
I don't. I really don't know. Who knows?
Is it Peter? Did Peter become the?
I think Peter is definitely the anchor being. If Peter dies, the world dies. So with that being said, we all like the movie. It's 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, however you
I think
feel
it's a 10 out of 10.
It could be a 10 out of 10.
I think if you're looking at it as a Deadpool movie, it is a 10 out of 10. The way they did it made sense.
Well, look, Deadpool, it was a Deadpool movie, but it wasn't just a Deadpool movie. It was a Wolverine movie. And Wolverine had his moments, and actually, he kind of outshined him, but only because we know Logan.
The nostalgia factor.
It-
It's because
yeah.
it was so Hugh Jackman. If it wasn't Hugh Jackman and it was somebody else, I don't think he would have overshadowed.
I don't
him.
believe you, because if it was the Wolverine, I would fuck the same way. So I don't care. But again, I get what you're saying, because at the same time, you know him. We've been through wars with him. We've been through bad wars with him. Shitty Wars, and they did a great thing by saying goodbye to Fox at the end credits. They showed all the behind the scenes stuff of all the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and Elektra. They didn't show anything of Blade because Blade wasn't Fox or anything like that.
You know what that reminded me of when they were showing the first that popped in? It was a Jackass 3D.
Yes.
When they did the same thing, but they played Weezer at the end. It would have been so funny if they did the same thing. Because I would have been like, is this a tribute?
It could have been. I don't know.
Because that's exciting. But they showed like their old behind the scenes too, and to the new movie in the Jackass 3D.
Yeah, so it was a great movie. It was a big win. The last real big comic book movie of the year until Creature Commandos comes out in December. So it's kind of on that.
Doesn't something else come out this year too? That was after Deadpool?
No. In terms of comic book?
Huh?
Venom comes out next year. If it does, it comes out in October. I'm
pretty sure there was another something
on October.
quick that was supposed to come
It might
out.
be Venom. Venom might be the next one, but I think it's only supposed to be Deadpool and Wolverine.
Venom. I know it's something, but I just can't think now.
In terms of Marvel, there's nothing for Marvel.
I don't think it's Marvel.
There's nothing for DC either. Nothing for DC.
Nothing for DC.
DC, the only thing they have coming out this year besides
October
Penguin
25
is Venom. So it's Venom's next, which is Sony, but it's not Marvel. But that's the last. So Marvel, in terms of the Marvel universe, is done for this year. Next year, you have 3 movies coming out, and then you get the Avengers movie. Plus, they'll probably have other movies that they're probably going to be announcing at celebrations. So, the big question is this, and I'm going to give y'all spoilers because I kind of figure this is it for Ryan Reynolds in terms of Deadpool movies. He will be in movies like a Spider-Man or an X-Men or something like that, or Avengers. He'll pop up as, like, hey, we need somebody to do something. I'll do it. Type. He's not doing any more solo Deadpool movies. That's done. That's
Is that
done
by
and
his
over with.
choice or?
It's because he's an executive producer, one of the writers. It takes a lot of his time. His wife is kind of getting a little bit more bitchy about it because, like, all right, I'm not going to be the only one raising these damn kids. And his kids are getting older, so it's more or less
Also,
like...
the soccer team.
The soccer team is getting a little bit... But I think they'll sell that.
one of them was at the movie. He was the Welsh.
Yes, the one with
Deadpool.
the Welsh one. I noticed that one. So
yeah, he's one of his players.
It's getting...
I thought it was a tribute too.
It was a great tribute. They showed a lot of stuff. They had the Canada Deadpool. It was a whole bunch
I think it's going to be funnier when we find out who the other Deadpools were that we don't know of yet.
One was Tom Holland's brother.
Yeah, I know one of them was Tom Holland's brother.
It's probably 9 times out of 10, I think there probably might have been only 4 real big known actors that was in the Deadpool costume.
That's probably what we think right now. And then, like, later on, I don't know where y'all usually
John
is.
Cena.
John Cena, for all you know.
For all you know, it might have been. So,
Right when you're there and all you see is the guy who plays Professor X.
Yeah, it could have been.
You're like, what?
I don't know. They had a whole bunch of other stuff. But for this, I think this is it for Deadpool as a whole story. We'll see him in other countless renditions. Definitely will be in Secret Wars, and it might be in Doomsday. Maybe. It could be, I don't know. But Wolverine, he's not going nowhere until after maybe Secret Wars as well. What do you feel as though, because we have Captain America, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four coming out. Fantastic Four aside, because we don't expect any one of these characters to be in Fantastic Four, could we see a Wolverine and say the Thunderbolts, or Captain America, or Deadpool in either one? Because they're going to use these guys. This is going to make $1 billion.
I'm gonna say no.
It might. This movie is going to probably make close to $1.1 billion. I don't think it will cross the $1.1 billion mark because I think a lot of people that came to see it. Any of the rewatches will probably go down 75%, maybe 70, maybe 64 if it's great. But it's going to hit $1 billion. These guys will be in countless movies.
Did they say what universe where the Fantastic Four is?
Nope.
No.
We'll probably get it in the movie.
I was wondering, like, if Wolverine was part of that universe, because he could be in it. I'm not saying he's gonna be in it. I doubt it. But
You know what? You just said something that's very interesting because you're right. Because he is older.
he's like 100 or 200 years old.
He could be in the movie because we've seen they flirted with that in other renditions.
But that's only considering that means they're already dead.
No. Before, because this is the 1960s, we probably won't see Wolverine. We might see Logan. Like he could just be wandering around or something like that, or he could be in a battle with them, like a flashback scene. Because look, Q said after Logan.
I'm gonna say no, just because of where the X-Men timeline, when they technically start.
Well,
it's always been the 80s.
Well, no, this is why that's why I agree with you. He said Logan, because remember, if you remember Wolverine Origins, which is he's been around, and even in Days of Future Past, he's been around. So there could be like a flashback. I don't think. I mean, look,
I'm gonna say no, just because I feel like
I'm saying it's
Probably-
a far reach, but
it's a reach.
I get what you
it's
mean.
a possibility.
I think it's just a timeline that it's the 60s for them.
but again,
just don't think so.
it's more or less like this. You have $1 billion movie with this character. You finally have Wolverine. You're going to use him up until at least Sacred Wars. You're not just going to
The
put him
only
in.
reason I'm gonna say no, I don't think he's in the other movies. Maybe the Fantastic Four, like Lalo said, but I'm gonna say no to the other ones. Just
No, I
because-
don't see that.
I'm gonna say no for the Thunderbolts, mainly because you got to let them establish themselves. If you bring him in,
They're just
Most
gonna-
of-
you kind of waste them there.
I think there's.
If the movie doesn't work out, you waste them there.
I don't see him in Thunderbolts. I agree, but I don't think they need to establish himself. I just don't think he fits in that. I think I think
Look at the
Deadpool.
Marvels.
I think Deadpool fits more in the Thunderbolts.
Okay,
You could
yeah.
see Wolverine and Captain America
I'm
because
gonna say no,
more.
only because we still don't know if mutants are technically there yet.
they are because Miss Marvel said she's a mutant. They've established mutants are in this universe.
Technically, we had Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch already
And
before
true,
mutants.
But this is why I say the whole fucking multiverse thing is a pain in the ass because you don't know who's in where. You could be in universe 2257.
Am I?
I don't know,
Shit.
right? But then he is not, and then you cross paths and be like, "Oh yeah, that's your brother," and you're like, "What the fuck? I've never had a brother." It's convoluted with the multiverse. I can't wait for it to end. The reason why I said, "What movies will these next characters be in?" Because Hugh Jackman alone, you don't have that much time because you have to after Secret Wars, you have to establish the multiverse, not the multiverse, the mutantverse for X-Men. You're going to get whole new characters because we had this argument in the last show about if you should or should not. I think they'll go whole new characters. You
Like I
can't keep having Hugh Jackman be there.
Just remember that team.
You can't keep having Hugh Jackman in there, even though he's pushing 60. I know he's in his mid 50s. I believe he's 56. But he's pushing 60. You can't have him going too long as Logan because then it comes like, oh, God damn it. We love you and we don't care how long you do this for.
55.
It's 55. It's close. But at some point, we have to get into that whole mutant verse of establishing who's Cyclops, who's Gambit, who's Wolverine, who's Jean, who's Storm, who's Professor X.
I think, as crazy as it sounds, I think not Cyclops, Gambit's set. I think at the moment, I think Jaden Tindman just has the right push right now.
But remember, Channing Tatum is old too, and not old.
Gambit is old though.
He's about 43.
Gambit's old.
He is old, but
He-
you can't have him that old.
If we're having a
just yet.
55 Logan, there's no problem with
But you can't have. That's why I said you can't have Hugh keep doing this for another 10 years. You can, but you have to establish a new character.
44.
He's 44.
First thing that popped up was like Channing Tatum, Gambit, unproduced films.
It's ridiculous. He's going to get us. He's good.
I think he's good. I think even their Psylocke is probably set.
Maybe. I don't know. We just have to get through this multiverse.
I think right now, I feel like, as crazy as it sounds, I think we got to throw out probably First Class X-Men out the window.
I don't think
I
they're
don't-
going to bring them back.
I don't
No.
think any of them.
I don't
All the X-Men movies are like out the window because of Futures Past. They reset the whole thing.
They did, but remember in the Dark Phoenix, they kind of
I didn't watch that
on
movie,
it.
so-
It's that's why I said we had this discussion that maybe Days of Future Past they didn't reset it, but that team, and then went on to the Dark Phoenix. That team could possibly jump into this team, but you didn't want to muddle the waters too much with the multiverse. So that's why I was saying you'll get a whole new cast, including a Wolverine, because you can't keep having him. You can't have
We might not get a Wolverine.
unless they do this.
We might get an X-23.
No, you could, but they could do this. They could go X-Men Evolution. You could keep Logan, Hugh Jackman, the age that he is, where he's the established teacher
But yeah.
with Storm, and then Jean, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and whoever else you want to put on the team. are the young guys, and those guys are the leaders. You could do that.
That's why I think Channing Tatum fits perfectly.
You could.
Because in Evolutions, he is meant to be the older guy.
You could.
Even in, 96?
Yeah.
He's older than Iceman, all the kids.
Yeah.
He's not an established teacher, but he is one of the established adults in the team.
Yeah. So,
He's
but
not a teacher,
you gotta,
but Logan is, though.
But then you have to make him appropriate age. And this is why I say you can't really have Channing Tatum. He's a young face, so you could post him at maybe 30, late 20s at best. Rogue. Can't have a 40-year-old man with a 17-year-old. We're not Donald Trumping out here. Yes, I said that. I don't care.
Oh, he said that.
So, you know what I mean? You can, but you can't. So that's why I said, if you're going to do that, you got to do it in a certain way. X-Men Evolution is your best way.
Technically thinking, if we go off of that, you could technically just say that the universe that Gambit's going into for the Mutantverse, it's probably, you could probably hit with the whole, you could say that the kids are probably in, 20...
You could say early 20s.
Probably, that's fine.
You're pushing it then, but that's fine.
I feel like we could say that this is their college years. Maybe, like,
they're still learning to use their powers. I'm with you. You're pushing it there,
Gambit
but
could
then
definitely
it's fine.
work there. But I feel like the biggest issue isn't about going to be the cast. I think it's going to be when they decide to really establish all of this.
Secret Wars. I think Secret Wars, you're going to get all that.
Yeah, I think Secret Wars is like their chance to introduce like the new Wolverine or whatever to replace them.
Because I think what's going to happen is whoever, whether it's Doctor Doom or Kang or Galactus or all of them, with all the other evil variants, the Avengers aren't going to have enough, and they need to get another team.
And that's for the audience.
And I think the team that will come in and bail their ass out.
Shang-Chi movie come out?
Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
Nothing's been announced yet. We'll find that out at Celebration.
That has to be before.
It has to.
It has to be before, what's it called? Secret Wars.
It would probably be 2026. Celebrations is a week out, so we'll see. But guys, that's our time. Thank you, Lala, for joining us. We'll see you again.
No problem.
Give me one prediction for SummerSlam right now.
Wait, what are you saying?
Give me one prediction for SummerSlam right now. Just
feeling,
one victory.
you know, maybe AJ Lee might come back.
AJ Lee might come back.
I don't
doubt that. But Manny, as always, it's always been a pleasure. We'll see y'all guys next week. I'm Will. That's Lala. That's Manny. Next week, just letting y'all know, probably going to talk a little bit about their fantasy draft that's coming up soon because, you know, we got the champ right here.
Yeah, right here. Future champ right here.
What champ were you pointing at first?
Whatever. It's whatever.
This dude think he wins his league.
But guys,
can he even win
it's
basketball?
been nice.
I won
Like,
my first year.
subscribe, follow,
1-2 years in a row.
share. We love you. We appreciate you. Be kind to each other.
My brother
Be
was
kind to
dead
others.
last, second last.
We love you. See you.
Made all of this money this week. Yeah. Shit look amazing to me. Yeah. All of my homies gon' eat. Yeah. And I could put that on me. Shorty, she giving me brain. Yeah. Loving the way that she think. Yeah. Shorty.